It was the dream of two men, King Richard and Manjunath, to ride across the world on two wheels. After 2 years of meticulous planning and preparation, they started the first leg of their world ride in April 2018. The duo travelled for 3 months and completed the first part of their ride from Bangalore to London. Richard started the second leg of his world ride from North America in August 2019. As Manjunath was unable to accompany him, Richard was joined by another good friend, Vijay Narayan. Spanning 40,000 kilometers, the second leg of the world ride was planned to cover 3 continents: North America, South America and Australia. Richard and Vijay began their journey from New York and continued to San Francisco, Los Angeles, Mexico, Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica and Panama. After covering Colombia and Ecuador in South America, Vijay had a fall in Peru, which resulted in a severe ankle injury. The two riders made the tough decision to halt their planned route and return to India. While Vijay got his motorbike airlifted to India, Richard left his bike in a parking lot in Peru. After a brief respite of 2 months, Richard decided to continue the ride on his own. This was not an easy decision as Richard had Manjunath's company during the first leg covering 23,500 kilometers and Vijay for the second leg covering 18,000 kilometers. He now had the daunting task of riding another 22,000 kilometers all on his own. Encountering lonely roads with long stretches of uninhabited lands with only venomous snakes and scorpions were the least of his problems. Unnerving news of the tragic bushfires all around the continent kept both Richard and his family and friends on tenterhooks. This entire journey has been about a series of challenges and overcoming them. Let's hear it from the King as he shares his tales of spine-tingling adventures on his solo ride.
Hi, I'm Richard from White Dragon Adventures. The first time I'm riding a solo ride on an international trip. After 2 months parking my bike in Peru, Lima, I went to the Carlos place. Finally, I've reached my bike place where I park my bike. This is Carlos. Hola. There was a lot of procedures which I have to follow to lift my bike, and I need to go to the custom clearance, take a permission. He has to inspect my bike. Finally, he has certified that I can ride the bike. So I started my trip from Lima. We are in Lima. Nice feeling after long break. I'm riding the bike. Wow, what a spectacular view after ocean on the other side. On the way to Nazca from Lima. My first destination will be traveling to Nazca. The roads are a little tough. It's fully of a dry desert. Nobody in the road. See this road, empty, 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 empty. The deserts are fully plain, not even a tea shop you will get. Even petrol bunks are difficult to find in these terrains because the petrol bunks are inside the village. So we have to plot these petrol bunks before, since I am alone. Finally, I reached Nazca. Nazca is very famous about Nazca lines. Nazca is very beautiful scenic place, but those scenics you can see only on aerial view. You can't just see on the road. I just rode my bike on the Nazca lines, reached to the airport. I had a small glider flight, took the flight, gone round to the Nazca lines. The view was amazing. See 300, 400 feet drawings they made. Those drawings is called Nazca lines. It is mesmerizing seeing those things from the aerial view and thinking how they would have done those days. I stayed in Nazca and started my ride towards Puno. Oh, I am on the way to Puno. Beautiful, mind-blowing road. What a scenic. It is high altitude road, dry places. The crosswinds are huge.
In the Atacama Desert, I'm not finding one petrol bunk in this road. Last 100 kilometers I'm riding, not even one shop.
My dream to ride Puno because I want to see Lake Titicaca. Lake Titicaca is the largest navigatable lake in the world. It's so huge you can't see other end. I'd been traveled to there and I took a ferry and went around the lake. I didn't find the end of the lake. Then finally I found the end of the lake. Then I said, this is the end. They said, no, this is a mountain. Beside the mountain there is a lake. Beside that lake you can find Bolivia, a different country. The lake was so huge, about 26 to 27 rivers are joining in this lake, and the lake there never flows out to the ocean.
We are at Lake Titicaca. Opposite what you see, this is Bolivia. I thought lake ends there. No, that is also an island. Lake continues behind that mountains. You can see a snow mountains there. The lake continues other side of the mountain also. What a place, what a place. Around here, and that is Bolivia. Puno city, Lake Titicaca.
So it's a big lake, it's fun being there. Other thing is the first time I'm celebrating my Christmas in Puno without my family. It was little emotionally, I was feeling dull, down, no friends, no family. I was just roaming around the city in the Christmas.
We are in Pune. This is called Lima Street, not Lima, it's Lima Street. Feeling good, colorful buildings. I'm in Pune. I stayed in the hotel. I decided to stay in the hotel only because of this Lake Titicaca. The hotel is exactly opposite to Lake Titicaca. Now everything's set ready. I packed my bike is ready. Let's see how things goes.
World famous Machu Picchu is situated in Peru. I had been visited there.
I'm on the way to Machu Picchu. I decided to take a train. To the train. Wow.
Finally, from Pune, I decided to ride towards Chile. Chile, I'll be entering to the Tacan. The Tacan is the border town in Peru, the border to Chile.
I'm in Tacan. I'm heading towards Chile. I got new friends.
Hello, hola, Valeria.
Valeria and
Hola Manuel desde Uruguay.
Manuel. They have come from Chile. They are heading towards Lima and other places. I met them. We have shared our experience.
Well, bueno, un gusto haberte conocido y haber cruzado las rutas y que tengas un muy lindo viaje y muy buen año 2020.
Thank you. She is
Thank
wishing
you.
that I know.
Fun to be in Tacan. It's a very cool, nice city. I reached by border by 11 o'clock.
We are ending Peru and entering Chile.
This border is totally different because all the papers what they had given all is written in Spanish. They don't have any English paper to fill the forms. Even the officer not able to support me to fill the form. Then I used to Google because I have to type all Spanish word in the Google. Then it translate to English. Then I have to see that and filled all these things and finally I entered Chile. I was expecting that it's more greenery, but when I entered the Chile, it was full of desert. The destination where I have to reach, it is called Ikiki. Ikiki is exactly situated in the seashore. Then I expecting it should be a flat road, but I started riding towards on the mountain. Just went to the Ikiki, I stayed in a hotel. Next to my hotel was a Indian restaurant. Just went directly to the Indian restaurant. A Gujarati person, the Indian, he met me, we were excited. He was offering me food, coffee. Then he took me around the city. Nice gentleman, nice fun. I stayed in the Ikiki Express Hotel. Next to the Express Hotel was Indian restaurant. Just I went inside to check whether any Indian is there.
Right.
Finally I got Mr.
Manu Watwani.
Manu Atwani is from India, Indonesia, Australia. You name it, any country, you will be telling that you will be there.
अभी देखो कभी भी कोई भी आने वाला है यहाँ और मतलब ट्रिप के लिए कि हनीमून के लिए कि मनीमून के लिए आ जाए नजर आए. अच्छा कंट्री है, बहुत अच्छा है. बारिश नहीं पड़ता इधर, कभी भी बारिश नहीं पड़ता है.
There is no rain at all here.
Yeah.
Not till now, it is not rained in this city.
Nearly
Amazing.
100 years never rain.
100 years
एक
never.
साल 100 साल हो गया पर बारिश नहीं हुआ अभी भी.
Amazing, huh? Not
Amazing.
able to believe. You have to see Google. It is like this, but everybody says there is no rain here.
Yeah.
Good. And next day, I started my ride. I am supposed to reach Valparaiso. I am riding towards Valparaiso. I am going to stay in our friend's house. That is Don's cousin house. We have gone to desert, end of desert. Oh, you can see there. Let's see, go and take some photos. I plan to stay in my friend's house. Basically, they are from Facebook friend. They invited particularly because they have seen some footage of mine. I have sent some videos where I stayed in Puno and spent my day alone on Christmas. So they said you have to come here and stay with us for New Year. Then I decided to go there and stay with them and celebrate New Year. Wow, we are nearing Don's cousin house. I am there in Chile. I am going to do pressed coffee. It's called even espresso coffee. The coffee powder, press it like this. Wow. Now the espresso, that is press. Excellent. My coffee is ready.
Back in the days, 200 years ago, it used to be a steam portable engine. So if you come with me here, you can see over there, you can connect the rotating saw, you connect a pole and that pole could connect to a rotating saw and that was used to cut the wood.
Brilliant vision. I got some Facebook friends from Europe. I plan to join with those guys. They're riding from Santiago to Ushuaia. They welcomed me to join with them. So finally I took my bike. Then I left towards Santiago. I met the Europeans. I thought my solo ride gents here, I will be riding with them. After 2 kilometers, everybody in a different speed. They are in a different place. I am in a different place. Again, become like a solo ride. The total landscape of Chile have changed. Till Santiago, it is full of desert. Just exiting Santiago, it is full of greenery. Totally changed. I felt that I am in a different country. plenty of trees. Wherever you ride and go, you see waterfall, big lakes, and it is more colorful. It is fully ultra HD color.
Wow. Full snow mountains here.
Hi, I'm in Chile. On a beautiful road here. Freezing cold, 5-degree temperature. I'm riding my motorcycle. I'm enjoying it. You have to see the view there. Wow.
Lake is parked there. I'm very cold, and the waterfall is here. Plenty of places like this with the waterfall.
Chile always with the waterfall. Wherever I see, I think I would have seen more than 20 waterfalls on the way. Wherever you see the waterfall. Mind-blowing experience riding in Chile.
Usually they'll fix a end point or the point where to have breakfast or where to have lunch. We should gather there. Till there you will be solo.
We reached to that tent house, but too hot. Where we are camping, just behind that there is a waterfall. And my bike here. Plenty of people like campfire is going on. This is my tent, this is my bag.
Our riders are kept beer in cooler. This is a cooler here. See, beer has been kept in a cooler.
My bike, my tent.
We stayed in this place, beautiful place. I did plenty of off-roading. Today also there are some off-roading to do. Let's see how I'm going to do it.
After 4 days and different terrains, different places, then these Europeans have decided to enter Argentina. So I have reached Argentina border. It's exactly middle of a forest. So I went there. All these European immigrations got over. My immigration kept in hold. Then I was keep repeatedly asking them what's the problem with that. They told me to wait. But problem is there the communication. Those officer can speak only Spanish. I can't understand Spanish. So then finally they said, what's the problem? Why my immigration not done? They said there is a problem on your visa. I said I have a visa. Problem with me, I have 2 visas. I have taken a visa, and initially when I was riding with Vijay, when I took a 2-month break, that visa is lapsing, so I have taken a fresh visa. So he is telling the visa which is cancelled, so I can't allow you inside my country. Then I have to ride back. The Europeans guided me that you start riding in parallel in Chile. I will start parallel in Argentina. Whenever you get visa permission, they had given me idea of 2-3 borders. Whichever border you get permit, that time you enter in that border. Till that time you will ride parallel. I have to ride down to the Chile border, and the Chile border is lot of questions. Just now we exited about 6 hours before. Why you want to come back? Then I requested them. Finally they accepted my requested, and then I started doing my paperwork in Chile. Then I got a permission to stay in Chile. And then I called my family in Bangalore and started telling, no, I had a problem like this. They started getting worried because I'm alone. I'm in the middle of a forest. And I told my wife to get paper arranged. She called to Indian Argentina embassy, and we had a different conversation with them. And finally they started telling me, why not you call from there, we will answer, we will sort out the issue. Problem is that when it is day there, it is night in India. So they don't understand this thing. We told it is not possible. Find with a lot of difficulties. Finally they accepted to deputy officer in India. You will be working in the night for me when I'm entering day in Argentina. If I had an issue, I should call him. This officer will attend my call and sort out my issue. And finally they said you are allowed to enter the country.
Wow. We exited this thing and entering Argentina.
This terrains. Also, it typically small highway road. When I riding in the day, also I feel it is like a night. It is so dark. Or riding, I've just started seeing a waterfall on the left side. Very beautiful. Nobody is there to see. If it is in India, there will be big crowd watching it. Nobody is there to watch it. Nobody bothers it because so much of waterfall in those roads.
Beautiful place. Water is clear. You can see everything inside. Wow, my bike is here.
Seeing all the scenic places, riding, my petrol dried. Then I stopped a car person. I requested him to guide me where to get petrol. Then he has opened the map and started guiding me where I can fill the petrol. I'm just on the way to Argentina. My bike dried out with the fuel. A gentleman here helping me to locate the fuel station. What's your name?
Igor.
He is Igor. He's showing me the map where the petrol bunk is there. Come, show the map.
Here.
We are somewhere here, correct? We are here and my petrol bunk is here. He says about 50 kilometers range, I'll get a petrol bunk. The crosswind starts from there. That's a road called Ruta 40, one of the dangerous road in the world.
Patagonia, a region shared by Chile and Argentina. The Ruta 40 or RN40 is a road running parallel to the Andes Mountains. It is one of the longest roads in Argentina, spanning over 5,000 kilometers. This was one of the most challenging part of the entire solo ride. With loose gravel roads and overpowering killer crosswinds are so deadly that you can easily go off balance if you don't have the ability to balance yourself against it, and if you can't stop yourself from trembling as you ride inclined at a constant speed. One needs to be very alert, have a very brave and determined heart, and a good sense of balance in order to ride across these roads. What does our rider have to say about the Patagonian experience?
The Ruta 40 is a deadly crosswind. Very difficult to ride in the crosswind, mainly when you are in a loose gravel road.
I am in Route 40, Patagonia and in Argentina. Mind-blowing road, killer winds.
The signboard says how bad is the wind here. You can't stop your bike. When you stop your bike, you will be thrown away. You should have a controlled speed on this terrain. Finally, one places we stopped and Europeans and that guide to that group and told one idea. See, there are two ways of reaching to our hotel. One is crossing this lake by a ferry. Other way is taking around the lake and you can reach the hotel. I thought it like a small lake, I take a round. Then it said it will take about 9 hours. Then I got shocked. Then he told it is about 300 kilometers, you have to take a half round of the lake. Then finally I decided to take this 300 kilometers road. Started riding. It is a fully loose gravel roads. I have to climb a mountain. One side I will be in the mountain cliff. Another side is a lake. I keep riding motorbike on the mountain. It was such a bad situation. Slowly I turned my bike. I've seen 2 Europeans already fallen there. Finally some car people are traveling that side. They stopped and helped them. I went to Punta Arena. From Punta Arena, I have to take a ferry to reach island. From the island, I have to ride about 700 kilometers to reach Ushuaia.
We are going for glaciers. To go to the glaciers, I have to ride 36 kilometers. Google shows 2 hours, 45 minutes, almost 3 hours to ride. I don't know how may be the road, but this is the road. Wow. Can see the falling glaciers. Mind blowing. Not able to believe I am here. Oh, wow. glacier. It's called falling glaciers. Wow.
After this, we reached to ferry point. It is in Punta Arena, and we took a ferry. After getting into the ferry, I understood how difficult to take this ferry to the other shore because the crosswind, even the ferry is in high speed, heavy motor. I think more than 20 to 30 big trucks are loaded inside the ferry, even though the ferry is moving in a different direction because of the wind. We reached the other side of the island. From island, we went to Ushuaia. It is about 500 kilometers. When I started riding the bike in this Ushuaia island, I felt it is not tough, it's tough among the toughest road in the world. I'll be riding my bike in a 45 degree. If I stop my bike, the bike will be thrown away from the road. The wind killed people are riding in the motorbike. It has killed people riding in the car. The cars have been thrown away. Even the buses are thrown away. The big trucks, about 100-ton weight trucks has been thrown away in this road. Finally, slowly doing this tough terrains, I have reached to Ushuaia entrance arch.
Finally, I reached Ushuaia. So it's my bike there. Parked next to Ushuaia board.
Seeing this board Ushuaia, it is called end of the world. It is typically situated at the tip of South America. 90% of the transport to the Antarctica goes from Ushuaia. If you reach Ushuaia, that means you have reached to Antarctica because there is no road in Antarctica. Everybody calls it Arctic to Antarctica, means somebody starts from Arctic, ends at Ushuaia, that means they have reached to Antarctica.
I am there at Eagle Channel, south end of Eagle Channel. Yesterday we've been to the main place, and today we took off-road and we have reached this place. Maybe this is the end of the road here. No further road even for that village. They have to go by boat. It's nice. I enjoyed ride today. Beautiful city. I am enjoying Ushuaia. Beautiful.
I completed my ride in South America. Now the thing I have to airlift my bike to Australia.
Australia is a country and a continent surrounded by the Indian and Pacific Oceans. The cities are adorned with beautiful high-rise buildings and are well populated, but the outbacks have no sign of human inhabitation for long stretches. Richard's ride was mostly through the vast interior desert wilderness and forests where the only living beings were kangaroos, venomous snakes and scorpions. Riding across destructive bushfires, scorching heat with temperatures up to 48 degrees and unrelenting rains. All these were experiences had him on the edge, only with loneliness to accompany him. Let's hear it from him.
If I want to take my bike to Australia, nobody is willing to clear my bike in Australia. Problem is this, your bike should be super clean. If they touch the bike and they find small dust anywhere in the bike, your bike will be rejected and it will be directly sent it back to the place from where it has been shipped to Australia. This pressure built up to me. I have planned to clean my bike 4 days. Then I went to a professional people to clean my bike. He charged about 12,000 rupees to clean my bike. I never cleaned my car also for this price. There are about 4 to 5 people cleaning my bike. We removed all the parts of the bike and cleaned. Fourth day, my bike was fully ready. Finally, I packed my bike and airlifted my bike to Australia. I'm in Australia. My bike has arrived in Australia. and it was there in the 4 days. Finally, they have inspected. They found it is very clean. They're happy to see the bike clean. Then I fixed my bike back and started riding in Australia. It's a different field, a different country. I was riding in right side of the road, all this America to South America. Now I have to ride left side of the road because it is typically like Indian road condition. So finally I reached to my hotel. I have a lot of plans. I have to take my bike inside the Sydney. Problem is that there was heavy rain on that day. Heavy rain. I'm in Riga. I have to go to Melbourne now. I don't know how I'm going to ride. I decided to move out from Sydney. I met some friends, Indian friends there who are riding motorbike in Australia. Ramji, he came to me. He given me a location where we can take a good photo of Harbour Bridge. I'm in Australia, the great Harbour Bridge. I'm enjoying it, each bit of it. My bike is here. I'm here. Then I started my ride from Sydney. The heavy rain, the rain has started towards Melbourne. Slowly rain stopped. I started riding in the thick bushfire. There was a huge bushfire 1 month or before my ride, and there was some bushfires here and there in Australia. People are scaring me when I started my ride. Be careful with the bushfire because when you stuck in the bushfire will cover you at the back and front. There is no place to escape, or you will be evacuated from there from by helicopter, or you don't have any other option to get out from there. So I was seeing the forecast, and every time I stop in hotels or I stop in a coffee shop, just inquire how the roads, where the bushfire. So I started my ride. I seeing the bushfire. I felt very sad. The green trees, green forests are fully burned. About 800 kilometers I am seeing full of bushfire, burned. See, you can see everything is burned here. Plenty of towns have been shifted. Plenty of villages have been burned completely. It is very sad, very sad, very sad. I am at Gimba. The Gimba is exactly half mark of Australia. So this is called halfway across Australia. Wow. Riding on the north side of Australia, so I can see a lot of dead animal on the road, mainly kangaroos, all dead on the road. You can see one here and one there. So I started riding this. I reached to Melbourne. I stayed in a biker's family. A nice time with them. Started my ride. Next day towards Great Ocean Road. Awesome places, no tourist travels those roads. I have taken those roads. My destination there to reach Adelaide. Adelaide is the third city which I want to reach in Australia. Went to Adelaide. From Adelaide I went to Alabain. It's a coastal town. I started riding only in coastal to reach Alabain. It is in south part of Australia. I decided to ride north of Australia towards Port Hedland. I went to a tourist place called Wave Rock. The rock is curved like a wave. When you take photo, you feel that it is a big wave is hitting you. Actually, it is a rock. Then I've seen a place called 90 Miles. This is the longest road in Australia. 90 miles, straight road. "90 miles is called the longest straight road in Australia. Started riding in that road, one straight road, approximately 130-150 kilometers straight road. Fun riding in Australia. I'm at Australia on the way to Adelaide. So this is called the Pink Lake. This is a salt lake. Fun to be here. I'm enjoying it. Very hot. After a particular distance, I stayed in a place where you don't get hotels. You'll get only caravans.
I'm going to stay in this van. For this, we are taking $80. And this is my room. One single bed and bathroom, AC, toilet air, fridge. Nice. And tea. And I know tomorrow morning it will be there. They should not take this and go out.
I stayed in a couple of times in this type of caravan. So I have seen these places. I started riding my bike. Finally, I have reached Port Hedland. I am in Port Hedland, city of iron ores. I think they have got the old iron here for recycling. In this highways, you can see road trains. The big boards are written, this is the road train roads. You difficult to overtake this because it is about 300-400 feet treks. This is 5 to 6 containers joined together. It's called one trek. This is called road trains. There is a 4-road junction in highway. When the 4-road junction comes, you have to reduce the speed to 50. So I slowed down the speed even though police fellow catched in the speed gun. I was in 175. He chased me. It is like a Hollywood movie. Police chasing me and I understood the police is chasing me. Something wrong in me. I parked my bike. Very coolly came. He said, you are in a speed. I said, I don't know. Then he went inside his car and did my paperwork and fined me $875. The big bomb. It is Indian money, it is about 40,000 rupees. I've been fined by police today. I am riding at the speed of 75, the limit is 50 and I've been fined $200. I have to pay $200 fine within 1 month. From there my speed reduced to 110 km speed. It is not even 1 km speed more. I was just riding in 110 km speed. I felt sleepy plenty of times. Need to stop my bike after the big lorry. It was a shade on the lorry. I stopped my bike, the shade of the lorry. I've seen a huge truck here. My bike looks very tiny in front of this truck. The temperature is so bad, it's 48 degrees burning, no humidity in the air. So I started my bike, finally I reached my place. So I went up to Port Hedland. From Port Hedland I started riding towards Perth, coming down to south of Australia. There when I starting down, finally I went to Coral Bay. From there I went to Perth. Perth, our relative, one father, Paul was there. He was waiting for me to greet me. I went to his house, I stayed with him and airlifted my bike from there to Bombay. Wow, I reached that area. Father Paul is 4 minutes away from here.
You need to really think about it now. I'm staying in Australia, Perth. My cousin's house. He's a priest here. My bike is parked somewhere here. Wow. Finally, I've reached to Bombay. My wife waiting for me. I rented my bike from Bombay to Bangalore. I reached Bangalore. It is a surprise for me. It's a big, grand welcome party here. Today is 5th of March. I am entered Bangalore on the way to my home. Finally reached my house. It is plenty of arches are made, plenty of signboards are made welcoming to me. The big crowd was there with my family and friends welcoming me. I felt excited doing big ride and reaching home. Always they say the good rider who reaches back safe home. So finally I've reached home safely. It was a big party celebration in my house. Finally I've reached India.